At the Okoli Law Group, we specialize in producing justice. If you or a loved one in the Atlanta metro area is facing serious criminal charges, then you need serious legal representation.
The Okoli Law Group is here for you. The Okoli Law Group is here for us.
The Okoli Law Group, serious legal representation.
Peace, family. We are live again. Dynasty Mirror Search for Huru. Thank you all. Thank you so much for joining. Do me a favor. Please hit that like button again. Please hit that like button. Also, make sure you share and make sure you subscribe. I will greatly appreciate it. Hold on. I got to check something in the settings real quick. And then we'll jump right into today's topic. Well, let's roll with the announcements first. Announcement number one. Hey, Sierra Leone citizenship is back on. Citizenship is back on. If you guys don't know, citizenship was a little bit up in the air. Sierra Leone, this last year, 2024. Oh, I need to get a haircut. I'm getting my haircut Friday. Finally, I need to get a haircut. If you guys don't know, last year, 2024, there wasn't any conferment ceremony. So nobody received passports via the citizenship by the DNA initiative. But the good news is it's back on. Again, it is back on. So April, the rules have changed a little bit. So the days of coming and leaving with your passport within 2 weeks, those days are over. Again, those days are officially over. You now have to wait a year. So a ceremony is going to be held every April and November. And December. It's no longer November, December. So every April and December will be a conferment ceremony, but you have to come first, either April or December. Then you receive your passport after you waited a year, that following April and December. So I am coordinating a group for this April, for those who want to get the process started. Hey, Sai, I am coordinating a group for this April. The window's April 20th through May 4th. That's the window, but we won't be on the ground for that long. Just if you're interested, just give me a call or send me an email. Visit donfo.africa. And then in December, there'll be another group. And then in between time, we're rolling to Senegal in May, but that trip is already filled up. Then we're going to Nigeria in August for the Oshun Festival. Then we're rolling to Zanzibar in September. And then we're going to cap it off. Well, not really cap it off because then we got 2 more trips we're going. Then we're doing Namibia in November, Namibia and South Africa. So we're doing 2 countries or one. I'm looking forward to going back to Namibia. I miss Namibia. And then back to Sierra Leone in December. So if you're interested in joining us on one of our trips, please visit donfo.africa. Again, please visit donfo.africa to learn more. We will love to have you on one of our experiences. And this is I got my Sierra Leone passport right here, actually. I was trying to find a cover. It's interesting. The first time I went to Sierra Leone in 2019, so I have a cover for my Nigerian passport. I probably need to get another one, but I don't have a cover for my Sierra Leone passport. It was interesting. My first trip to Sierra Leone, 2019, there was a guy who was selling passport covers on the side of the road, and I didn't get one because I'm like, I don't have a Sierra Leone passport. Then I get my Sierra Leone passport in January 2021, and I cannot for the life of me find a passport cover, a Sierra Leone passport cover. So with that being said, I'll put a bounty out for a Sierra Leone passport cover. Maybe we could work something out. If you find one, let me know, buy it. And we can work work something out. But yeah, I cannot find for the life of me a Sierra Leone passport cover. I can't find one. Maybe they're out there somewhere. But yeah, but they were they were everywhere when I first went to Sierra Leone, but now they're now missing. So let's jump into today's topic. Guys, hit that like button. I'll put the link in the chat room if you guys want to call in and add to the convo. Eric Adams, and we did a show on this last week. I'm shocked. So Eric Adams, the Department of Justice has recommended that all his charges be dropped. A black man is getting his charges dropped against the system that I was told was corrupt, that went after black people, that was biased towards black people, that wrongfully imprisoned black people. You have a black man getting off. But I'm hearing and seeing that folks are upset. Nah, he doesn't deserve to give off. He's kissing Trump's butt. He deserves to be locked up. I'm like, well, hold on. The same system that you said marginalized black people, you have a black man who's getting off and you're upset? Why? Because he called out Sleepy Joe and his immigration policies that were affecting the people of New York. So he calls out Sleepy Joe. In fact, let me play the video. So he calls out Sleepy Joe and just saying, hey, these immigration. In fact, here goes the video right here. This is I want to just find his video. And not from like a news channel, just his just when he was speaking on it. Here we go. This is perfect. This is perfect right here. So he starts calling out the migrant crisis and how it will destroy New York City. And then all of a sudden, here comes wire fraud charges, and
we turned this.
He's indicted. But let me play this. This is where it all started.
City around in 20 months. And then what happened? Started with a madman down in Texas, decided he wanted to bus people up to New York City.
See, you're talking about Governor Abbott. Governor Abbott is not a madman. Because when they were bringing up this illegal immigration situation and calling out these open borders, people like yourself were like, come on to New York. We'll make a home for you. We're a sanctuary city. So they called your bluff and they started sending the immigrants to you. So you can't call them a madman. It's what you asked for. Let's continue.
10,000 migrants. We have to feed, clothe, house, educate the children, wash their laundry sheets, give them everything they need, health care. And this team here, we stated, let's do everything possible before we have to push it out into neighborhoods and communities. Month after month, I stood up and I said, this is going to come to a neighborhood near you. Well, we're here. We're here. We're getting no support on this national crisis, and we're receiving no support. And let me tell you something, New Yorkers. Never in my life have I had a problem that I did not see an ending to. I don't see an ending to this. I don't see an ending to this. This issue will destroy New York City. Destroy New York City. We're getting 10,000 migrants a month. One time we were just getting Venezuela. Now we're getting Ecuador. Now we're getting Russian speaking coming through Mexico. Now we're getting Western Africa. Now we're getting people from all over the globe have made their minds up that they're going to come through the southern part of the border and come into New York City. And everyone is saying it's New York City's problem. Every community in this city is going to be impacted. We got a $12 billion deficit that we're going to have to cut. Every service in this city is going to be impacted. All of us. And so I say to you, as I turn it over to you, this is some of the most educated, some of the most knowledgeable, probably more of my commissioners and deputy commissioners and chiefs live in this community. So as you ask me a question about migrants, tell me what role you played. How many of you organized to stop what they're doing to us? How many of you were part of the movement to say, we're seeing what this mayor is trying to do and they're destroying New York City? It's going to come to your neighborhoods. All of us are going to be impacted by this. I said it last year when we had 15,000. I'm telling you now, with 110,000, the city we knew we're about to lose. And we're all in this together, all of us. Staten Island is saying, send them out to Manhattan. Manhattan is saying, send them out to Queens. Queens is saying, send them out to Brooklyn.
So he publicly calls out the migrant situation, Sleepy Joe's illegal, immigration policies, which have been adverse to, the residents of New York and just the city of New York as a whole. Right. Then right after this happens, hold on, let me pull this up. So right after Mayor Adams was adamant and vocal about the migrant crisis, this is what happens. This is what happens. He gets indicted all of a sudden, out of nowhere. He gets indicted.
Delicio.
Délicieux.
Delicio.
Good evening. I'm Byron Pitts in New York. We have breaking news this evening. New York Mayor Eric Adams has been indicted by a federal grand jury, according to sources familiar with the matter. Let's go straight to senior investigative correspondent Aaron Kontersky on the phone with the very latest. Aaron, what can you tell us?
Byron, we just heard a statement from Mayor Adams saying, I always knew that if I stood my ground for New Yorkers, that I would be a target, and a target I became.
There it is. And I agree. He stood his ground for New Yorkers and he became a target. They did the same thing to Marilyn Mosby.
If I am charged, I am innocent, and I will fight this with every ounce of my strength and spirit. A statement of defiance a moment ago from Mayor Adams to ABC News after word came that he has been indicted by a federal grand jury in New York. Byron, this follows a 10-month investigation into corruption. It began with an investigation into the mayor's fundraising from his 2021 campaign and whether his campaign took illegal foreign money, particularly from Turkey, in exchange for official favors by Eric Adams. And the investigation has more recently ballooned into a broader corruption inquiry involving some of his top deputy mayors and others in his inner circle.
Aaron, we all recall that months ago, I think, authorities seized his phone and members of his administration. Is this part of that investigation?
It is, and it was a highly provocative step back in November when federal agents stopped a vehicle outside an event where the mayor had been speaking. They asked his driver to step aside. Federal agents got in the car with him. and at that point seized his electronic devices that were on his person. The mayor subsequently turned over other electronic devices. And in more recent weeks, the feds have raided the homes of two deputy mayors. They've seized the phone of the police commissioner, the schools chancellor, both of whom have resigned. It's not immediately clear whether anyone else has also been indicted along with the mayor, but a number of people in his top echelon of the administration had become subjects of the investigation.
Give us some context about this. These are federal charges against the sitting mayor of the largest city in the United States, New York City. How significant is this, and how deep will this go, do you think?
New York has a long and storied political history, some of it rife with corruption, Byron, but never before has a sitting mayor ever been charged with federal crimes. Mayors have been charged after they've left office, like Rudy Giuliani most recently, because of his entanglements with former President Trump. But a sitting mayor of New York has never been charged with a crime until now. Adams has stacked his administration with a number of loyalists, with people who he is known from his days as a police captain, a number of high-profile individuals, including his chief counsel, had advised him that perhaps he wanted to jettison some of those people, but he has always remained steadfast and loyal. He has said he has done nothing wrong, and he has known of no wrongdoing in the ranks of his administration. Federal prosecutors, Byron, clearly tonight disagree.
I mean, certainly we'll hear along with the mayor what these charges are tomorrow, but talk about Mayor Eric Adams. He was someone in the Democratic Party seen a few years ago just as a rising star, as you said, a longtime police officer in New York City. He walked the streets. He was a beat cop, rose to captain. And so many saw his ascension to mayor's office as this fast-moving.
All right, let's go ahead and fast forward to his charges being dropped. So let's fast forward to that. So he gets his charges dropped. And when he gets his charges dropped, the Democratic Party, team police reform, team, the system, it goes after black and brown peoples. They're upset. The brother gets his charges dropped, which he shouldn't be charged for in the first place. Because all of a sudden, after Eric Adams is calling out, the terrible immigration policies of the Biden administration, here comes these charges in these indictments. So he gets his charges dropped, and instead of celebrating the brother, people are upset. All of a sudden the charges, let me find this. Guys, hit the like button. I'll put the link in the chat room if you want to call in and add to the conversation. Again, if you want to call in and add to the conversation, you're more than welcome to call in and add to the conversation. But, congrats to Eric Adams for getting his charges dropped. Congrats to him. Well deserved. Well deserved. Well deserved.
Turmoil in the Justice Department over the corruption case of New York City Mayor Eric Adams. The DOJ filing paperwork last night to drop the charges, which include bribery and fraud against Adams. Adams pleaded not guilty in September. Friday's move coming despite the resignations of more than a half dozen federal prosecutors working on the case. They raised concern after the deputy attorney general said a prosecution would hinder Adams' ability to assist the Trump administration with its immigration policies. On Friday, before heading to Florida for the holiday weekend, the president denied any involvement in the case. CBS News White House reporter Willie James Inman is traveling with the president. Willie? Good morning.
Good morning to you, Michelle. Danielle Sassoon, the acting U.S. attorney for the Southern District of New York, was the first to resign in protest this week. And now she's receiving the support from at least 7 former U.S. attorneys who served in that role. This comes as the Department of Justice moves to dismiss the charges in the case against New York Mayor Eric Adams.
In a Friday court filing, federal prosecutors moved to abandon a corruption case targeting New York City Mayor Eric Adams. The motion still needs to be approved by a judge, but it has.
Hey, somebody was hating on Eric Adams' earring, man. Y'all leave Eric Adams' earring alone. Leave his stud alone, man. Leave Eric Adams' earrings alone. I know somebody was out here hating on his earring the other day, man. Leave that brother's earring alone.
New York City Mayor Eric Adams. The motion still needs to be approved by a judge, but it has caused internal drama for Attorney General Pam Bondi.
Martha, I'm on a different time zone, but it's my understanding it is being dismissed today.
The shakeup at the DOJ was sparked by a memo sent earlier this week by Acting Deputy Attorney General Emile Beauvais, instructing federal prosecutors to abandon the charges against Adams. That led to the resignation of acting Manhattan U.S. Attorney Danielle Sassoon, who was overseeing the case. Sassoon sent a resignation letter to Attorney General Bondi saying she was baffled by the move to dismiss the case. She also alleged the mayor's legal team was working to thwart the charges against him in exchange for the mayor's assistance in the Trump administration's immigration crackdown, something Adams denied on Friday.
Think about my attorney, Alex Spira, one of the top trial attorneys in the country. Imagine him going inside saying that the only way Mayor Adams is going to assist in immigration, which I was calling for since 2022, is if you drop the charges. That's quid pro quo. That's a crime.
At least 7 DOJ officials have resigned in protest. The internal shakeup at the DOJ comes as the Trump administration is moving swiftly to reshape and downsize the federal government. Several federal agencies have started to lay off hundreds of employees who are under a probationary period.
We've also begun the process of canceling a significant number of contracts. And as far as the layoffs go, I don't have the exact number, but yes, those will be forthcoming as well.
The layoffs are in addition to a proposed buyout plan offered by the Trump administration, which it says 75,000 workers have accepted. The cost-cutting effort is led by Elon Musk and the Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE.
More layoffs could be on the way. The Office of Personnel Management has notified government agencies that they have until Tuesday, 8 p.m. to compile all of the numbers of the employees.
Free Eric Adams. Free Eric Adams. Free Mayor Adams. I hope he runs again and I hope he wins. Then here comes Brandon Johnson. Oh, Lord, man. Brandon Johnson. Now, this is what's going on in Chicago with Black Chicago and Brandon Johnson. People have had it with Brandon Johnson. I mean, people have had it with Brandon Johnson. Okay. And they're very vocal about it, but you don't hear the Democrats calling out Brandon Johnson in regards to these immigration policies. You do not hear Democrats calling out Brandon Johnson when it comes to these immigration policies. When the people are telling them that they're not for it. In fact, hold on, let me here we go. Here we go, y'all. Who's EA?
First at 4, no sanctuary from trouble. There's chaos at City Hall as protesters take over the meeting about Chicago's status as a sanctuary city. Good afternoon. I'm Anthony Ponce.
And I'm Natalie Bomke. It is the big story of the day. Explosive outbursts shutting down a council meeting.
Tempers are still flaring as we speak this afternoon. Dane Placco was in the chambers a little earlier, joins us now with the latest on this ongoing debate. Dane.
Yeah, guys, this was reminiscent of the council wars back in the 1980s. Hundreds of loud and angry protesters filling the city council gallery, forcing aldermen to pull the plug on a public meeting.
Okay, let's clear the room, Sergeant at Arms. Please clear the room. Clear the room.
This was a meeting of the City Council Rules Committee, which was about to take up debate over a proposal to let Chicagoans decide whether Chicago should remain a sanctuary city, welcoming to migrants, by putting that question onto a referendum on next spring's election ballot. But the meeting devolved into chaos after hundreds of protesters, mostly African Americans, packed the City Council gallery and began shouting down the aldermen. They're angry after a special city council meeting on the migrant question was canceled last week when Mayor Brandon Johnson's floor leader, Alderman Carlos Ramirez Rosa, tried to prevent a quorum by discouraging aldermen from entering the chamber, including a confrontation with longtime Alderwoman Emma Mitz. Well, after about a half hour, today's meeting was suspended and the crowd cleared, but not before some aldermen blamed the mayor and sanctuary city supporters of causing the chaos by trying to block the referendum.
Do you, as a resident of the city of Chicago, believe that we should remain a sanctuary city? It's a simple question.
That's why you're seeing the chaos in this city, because you're trying to silence a voice of certain people that just want to be heard.
Debate on the sanctuary city referendum will continue
this
on
is what
Thursday when the Rules Committee continues the meeting that was suspended today.
Oh, Eric Adams, yeah, free Eric Adams. But guys,
This
this is what it is, guys. I'm gonna keep it simple. All right, I'm gonna keep this simple. If you're black, and this goes for the Republicans too, it goes both ways. But if you're black and you disagree publicly, let me take that back. If you are a black Democrat or a black liberal and you disagree publicly with white liberals, they are going to try and shut you down and have you arrested. Again, if you're a black liberal, black Democrat, if you're in politics and you disagree, they're coming for you. They are coming for you. That's what this is evidence of. Once again, if you are a black liberal, black Democrat, and if you're into politics, if you disagree with the white liberals, they're going to send their black lackeys after you, their black attack dogs after you, and they're going to try to shut you down to the point where they're going to try to arrest you. That's what this is proof of. That's all. Shout out to Brother Hinga. Thank you for the $4.99 holla. Thank you for your dedication to Pan-Africanism and African-American trade traditional values. Appreciate you. It turns into a witch hunt. Because if you know, I mean, there's no way. Like, I don't agree 100% with anybody. Again, Scott, I'm going to bring you on here shortly. I don't agree 100% with anybody. And I know for a fact there's no way that these black Democrats, black liberals completely agree with everything the Democratic Party is doing. No way. But they have to fall in line, because if they don't, they'll end up like Eric Adams. All right, go ahead, Skyler.
Thanks, Don. I want you to think. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay, I want you to think about this. It's they're saying that it's illegal that Donald Trump is taking off charges of Eric Adams, that it's quid pro quo, it's corruption. Like all the black Democrats, all the black liberals, Joy Reid, all of them, they're gonna say this is bad, this is horrible. but they're perfectly fine with Joe Biden pardoning his son.
Right.
I want you to think about that. They're perfectly fine with that. So if the black man go to jail, Eric Adams
and Fauci.
Yeah. So it's perfectly fine. It's wrong. It's corruption when Donald Trump takes up charges on Eric Adams. The black man doesn't go to jail, but now they want the black man to go to jail. Like it's fine when Hunter Biden doesn't go to jail. The crackhead, the
Right.
crackhead not going. That's horrible. We need to get Hunter Biden out of jail. But Eric Adams, your black ass need to go to jail, and that's pretty much the black liberals and black Democrats. I'm gonna let
Right.
everybody else speak.
Go ahead, Brandon. Let me just tell Brandon. Brandon.
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me loud and clear? I just want to make sure.
Yeah, I hear you. Go ahead.
You hear me. Okay.
Go
okay.
ahead.
Yeah, so Dinah's typical hypocrisy from the Democrat Party. I've been saying this for a long time over on my channel. Black people are simply the fall guys for the Democrat Party. If you are black, if you are a Democrat, you might as well operate with the assumption or with certainty that when anything goes wrong, you're going to be the person who goes down for it. Not the white higher ups in the party, not the white liberals, the black people. If we look at what happened in the last 4 years, Dinus, look at all the people who took the fall for all of the unethical things that the Democratic Party has been doing. You got Fonnie Willis, you got Nina Turner, right? You have Jamal Bowman, right?
Right.
And the list goes on and on. Eric Adams, Brandon Johnson, he's done. Politically, his career's over, right? All we do is jump out in front of situations that are totally wrong and unethical and that are anti-democratic. And then when the backlash comes, we get the blame for why everything went wrong. When Jamal Bowman lost his seat as the representative over there in New York, did any white liberal come to his aid and say, hey, let's send Jamal Bowman millions of dollars to help him get elected? The most he got was Bernie Sanders and AOC getting on stage with him at a rally that took place long after the election was out of reach for him. They got up there with him for 30 minutes. Yeah, vote for Jamal Bowman, knowing he was getting destroyed in the polls. And then they went on about their business, but they retained their seat. How is it that every black politician who stood with the Democrats, what's her name over there in St. Louis?
St. Louis.
What's her name?
Cory
Bush.
Okay.
Bush.
Uh-huh.
Dinus, do you notice that every black politician who stood with the Democrats with these radical ideologies and these radical ideas, do you realize that all the black ones got lost? Most of the black ones lost their seat. Why does AOC still have her seat? She's literally the face of all this crap. She's saying all types of unconstitutional stuff. Why is she still in her seat in New York, but all the other black New York politicians are gone? Cory Bush is out. Nina Turner out. Everybody. We're just the fall guy. So when you see what's going on with Brandon Johnson and you see what's going on with Eric Adams, Brandon Johnson is not getting off scot-free. His political career is also over. The thing about Eric Adams being a longtime NYPD officer, he's smart. He knows when to jump ship and jump on the other side. And that's what Eric Adams did. Once the winds of change were blowing, once it looked like Donald Trump was going to win this election, because you got to understand, Eric Adams is privy to information that the regular citizen isn't. If you look at what Kamala Harris said after she lost and what her campaign manager said, he said, we were never leading in the polls. See, if you look at the timeline, when all the polls came out in the last 2 months, that's when Eric Adams jumped ship, because he also saw that Kamala Harris was headed for a landslide defeat. So he said, let me just jump to the other side. Brandon Johnson doubled down on his position, selling out black people on behalf of Latinos in Chicago, right? They just have something on him. They have more on him than they have on Eric Adams. That's why he's not going to, go against the Democrats on behalf of African Americans. But Dinus, We tried to warn African Americans. We're still trying to warn these black folks. These black folks don't even realize that while Joe Biden pardoned his son and 1,500 other criminals, he
He didn't give a preemptive pardon to Fannie Willis.
He didn't give a preemptive pardon to any black person who's been involved with anything the Democrats were doing. Why? Because when the axe comes down, those are going to be the people who lose their heads. We see it. We keep trying to tell these black folks. They keep ignoring us, keep trying to make us out to be the bad guy. And it's like, look, man, at this point, I'm tired of helping them and warning them. They're going to have to see it for themselves or experience it for themselves.
He didn't pardon Mosby, and that's my state. I live in, just out of DC, Maryland. He didn't even look at Mosby, of all people.
Well, I'll say this, Michelle. I was saying this right after the George Floyd riots and when BLM pretty much cashed out. I said it and I'll say it again. The Democratic Party, they're going to slowly shift from black women. They're going to do it quietly, and they're doing it right now. And the reason why, when those sisters took that George Floyd white guilt money, and they went and bought all that real estate in predominantly white neighborhoods, then filed for bankruptcy while claiming to be Marxist revolutionaries, white folks were like, we're done. So that's why they're done.
But we black people, we called BML out because of the type of things they were saying about the black family, taking the men out of the household. We were calling it out in the beginning, but the liberals never listened to us.
Of course, they're not going to listen to us because it goes against what they are. That's not what liberals want. Go ahead, Brandon.
Well, we have to be honest, Dinus. Some of us called them out. The vast majority of us still support it. And that's what I keep trying to tell black folks. Whatever revolution or whatever happens with African Americans in America, it's not going to be a large number of us. It's going to be a small number of us because the vast majority of our people are so caught up with the idea of getting free shit, we are willing to sacrifice everything for something we're not even going to get. Dinus, when we were doing Buy Black movement, that was a good movement. But would you say the overwhelming majority of black people fell in line with that? Hell no. It was a small contingent, not even 10% of all black people. But do you notice how many black people fell in line when we start talking about people getting free checks from the government for reparations? Everybody damn near jumped on board with that. Right. Black people, just like Carter G. Woodson, the founder of Black History Month, what did he say, Dinus? He told us 100 years ago, hey, they're going to come in to the black community. They're going to start pushing socialism. They're going to start telling you they're going to give you free shit. They're going to bring the communism in on you. And a lot of black people are going to go for it, and they're going to get tricked into it. What are we seeing in real time? The founder of Black History Month said this, Dinus, the founder of it. He knew that black people were a sucker for anything free. It's like when they say buy two, get one free. You don't even realize that you got to waste money on some shit you don't need to get another thing, the same thing, more of the same thing that you really don't need. Buy two Gatorades. If you get two Gatorades, they're just $6. Dinus, I need one Gatorade and it's $2.99. Why would I waste $3 extra that I had no intention of spending to get what looks like a deal? But in reality, you just spend the money that you really didn't need to spend at that moment. This is black people, man. Anything, you just say free. You could say free, but then tell us how we gonna pay for it later on. We still will do it because we don't, a lot of us don't want to work for what we want. We want instant gratification. We want the microwave process on everything. And let's be real, Dinus, we don't have the patience or the attention span for any type of sustained revolutionary action. We want moments, not movements.
Guys, links in the chat room. If you disagree, you're more than welcome to call in. Link is in the chat room. So, Brandon, what do you think? What happens next for Mayor Adams.
Charges are going to be dropped. Case is going to get dismissed by the DOJ. You have a little bit of resistance, but I think that's just for the optics. The Democrats know their beat. Eric Adams knows he has more dirt on the Democrats know Eric Adams has all types of dirt on them, right? Let's be real. Eric Adams, just like Brandon Johnson, has received money from the government on behalf of migrants. He's not going to say that because then he would be, going to jail. But if he goes down, there are a lot of Democrat politicians, judges, et cetera, that are going to go down. And they also know that he knows that they weaponized the legal system of New York City against Donald Trump for political reasons. He has proof of all that. He's the mayor. It had to go by him first. They're not going to come after him. They're just using him as like a warning to anybody else who tries to jump ship.
Michelle, anything you want to add?
Well, they said one of the things they speculated that he was going to become a Republican, and he declined that, openly, that he's not going to become a Republican, but he probably is going to be one of the new, more moderate Democrats. I hopefully will see him go towards that angle. But my main concern about his case is I don't like the fact that soon as he spoke out against the migrant crisis, especially as it cost the city, people started to turn their back on him. The Democratic Party started to turn his back on him then. And then that's when you start seeing these charges. But when I'm seeing the news cycle doesn't talk about that piece, which I get really upset when I'm going on to CNN. I'm like, CNN, you're not telling the full story.
Hey, Brandon, can you go into detail about Carter G. Woodson being against socialism? Unmute yourself. You got to mute yourself.
Yeah, so Carter G. Woodson, he basically talked about, starting businesses in your community and how you have a bunch of Black people who are supposed to be educated, right? Who go to school for business. They go to school for economics. They go to school to basically learn how to uplift their community, right? And once they leave school, they don't come out of school saying, hey, this is what we're going to do economically to get everybody on their feet in our community. They actually leave school as socialists, right? They go to school, they get indoctrinated with socialism, and they come out of school saying, well, the white man has gotten an economic head start on us, so there's no way we could reach his level economically. So what we need to do is we need to redistribute all the wealth and give the Black man his fair share of wealth for the slavery that he was under in America, right? Carter G. Woodson said, the rich Black, the affluent Blacks are just impatient. They just want instant gratification because they've wasted money going to school to learn what poor and middle class Blacks knew all along. So while you might have a person who went to school and majored in business or business finance, that person to come out of school preaching pure socialism, Dynas, and I'm sure you saw it as a person who's been to college. Meanwhile, there's a Black man who's a foreigner, came to America without 2 pennies to rub together. Now this guy got a chain of successful businesses, a chain of successful donut shops or Jamaican food restaurants or whatever. So basically, socialism is the answer for Black people who are impatient and don't want to work for anything. They think going to school, giving a white man all this money and loans and everything like that should guarantee them an outcome. And so what they do is they come out of school and they come and try to preach among poor Blacks, hey, you're never going to make it just pulling yourself up by your bootstraps or by just working hard and putting your head to your nose to the grinding stone. You need for redistribution of wealth. You need socialism to have a fair shot. And that's what I'm trying to tell people. All this stuff comes from the very elites that you guys claim to hate, the very elites that you guys claim to be fighting against. Socialism just takes you off of the chessboard. They just tell you, you can't do nothing of your own, on your own volition. You need somebody to hand you something. You know what? Now you're less competition for them and their kids to come up and dominate you economically. That's basically what Carter G. Woodson was saying.
Go ahead, MC007. Go ahead. Unmute yourself.
Thanks for having me on your podcast. And hey, what's up, Brandon? Man, he has a great show. This is Mike. My thing is that first of all, Eric Adams was already a Republican when he was served in the state legislature. But in law school, we used to always tease about the Democrats. They say if you ever go with the Democrat Party, you better have a lawyer with you, because they have a track record of arresting, getting some of their delegates arrested because they didn't toe the line with them. The Democrats is a very dangerous party. I tell people, don't go that route. You know, if they're going to run for office. My cousin ran as a Republican in California, and I'm glad he didn't go Democrat. But Democrats are some very dangerous people. They don't like Black people, and I just hope that Black people understand someday that they have options. And to go along with Brandon was saying about Carter G. Woodson, Carter G. Woodson was the outcast of the Black community because he spoke the truth. And he used to call them uppity Negroes, even in the fraternity of Omega Psi Phi fraternity that he was a member of and that I am a member of. He was very, I would say, pinnacle on a lot of the Black elite. He did not like them. He didn't even go along with W. Du Bois. He called him an uppity Negro as well. But he did not like the plight that the uppity Negroes were trying to take the Black community as to socialism. But I'll land my plane there.
All right, guys, links in the chat room. If you want to call in and add to the convo, you're more than welcome to. Links in the chat room. Also, please hit the like button.
I have a question for MC007.
Sure.
You said that, per my understanding of what I've seen in the media, he ran as a Democrat because he went against Celia, I forgot the guy's full name, who's running on the ticket of the Republican ticket. So he may have Republican leanings. I don't know his background per se, but he's presented to us as a Democrat.
Yeah, he did. I mean, to get the mayor slot in New York, but he was a legislator at one point in time as a Republican. And I think you can also look that up if you want, but he was also a Republican. And he did well as a legislator, but he is a realist. And I think he's doing better than that cat over there in Chicago. But the thing is that Chicago mayor will leave out a millionaire because his pension will be $3 million a year.
Golly.
That's why he don't care about what he does as mayor. He's towing the line for the DNC, and it is what it is. I land my plane there. Thank you, Michelle, for the question.
Thank you for sharing the background.
Dinus, I'm gonna share a little clip right here. This quote, this from Carter G. Woodson. This is why I don't listen to Black people when it comes to economics, like these educated people, like, oh, I went to school for business administration and all this stuff. He said, in the schools of business administration, Negroes are trained exclusively in the psychology and economics of Wall Street and are therefore made to despise the opportunities to run ice wagons, push banana carts, and sell peanuts among their own people. Foreigners who have not studied economics but have studied Negroes take up this business and grow rich. Carter G. Woodson basically simplified everything for Black people. So when you see Black people saying, oh, we can't come up economically, we can't do this, we can't do that, it's not your job to re-educate these Negroes, because there have been many who have educated us. These are lazy people, Dinus. They don't want to go do research and find out how to be get to a better position than what they are. They want you to continuously preach to them. Why do you think, Dinus, why do you think Black folks love church so much? Because all you got to do is just go show up and sit down and listen to the same thing being regurgitated to you over and over again. They'll sit up They'll sit up in church for 85 years, listening to the same sermon, sitting in the same damn seat at the same church in the same city for their whole life. And they'll never miss they'll never miss a Sunday. But the minute you start challenging the Negro to evolve and adjust himself to the changing times, we don't like that. So black folks, we will continue to vote Democrat and for eternity, simply because voting for anything else requires an evolution in our thinking. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It's not so much that we support them, it's just that it's the easiest thing to do. And a lot of Negroes love taking the path of least resistance. I got a friend right now. I sent him a copy of the proposal to dismantle the Department of Education. He came at me with pure ignorance. You know, I do my research, bro. I'm like, you do your research, but you think Donald Trump is talking about stopping free lunch programs and dismantling the IEP system for Americans with disabilities and all that. All you had to do is go look at the proposal and you'll find out that all that's going to remain. The only thing that's going to change is where the money goes, what department the money goes to, who will be in charge with distributing the money, accordingly to where it's supposed to go. No, they don't want to look at that. That takes too much time to go see the truth. They would rather live based on lies and fear mongering that the Democratic Party are bombarding them with, saying your kid's going to lose their free lunch. You ain't going to have 8 hours of free babysitting so you could go trick off and make more kids that you can't take care of. They want to believe this stuff, Dinus, because why? Because to not believe it means to have to actually go and use your brain and come to your own conclusion and understanding of what the reality is. We hate doing that. We hate doing it. And anyone who encourages us to do that, that person becomes the enemy. That person becomes the villain.
Guys, hit the like button again if you want to call in. MC007, do you live in New York? Did I miss that part?
No, I live in Los Angeles.
Okay. Yeah, I used to live in LA too. I know Brandon's in Long Beach, so we all. I can barely hear you, MC007.
Yeah, Brandon and I'm always on the show. We always talk about Long Beach and Los Angeles. I used to live in Long Beach.
Mm-hmm. And how do you think it's going to play out for Karen Bass?
I'll put it to you this way. She's going along with the ICE, not going along with the sanctuary city because she's starting to see how other mayors being charged. She's being quiet, but as far as her handling of fires, they still want her gone. They want her up out of there.
Mm-hmm.
And now she admitted that she knew that potentially fires could happen in the wind before she left for Africa. So I'm proud to hear that a lot of blacks didn't like her because she's mostly for Latinos. That's her base.
Well, that's her base. Same thing with Maxine Waters. Same thing with pretty much any black politician in California. That's their base, of course.
She's not. I think it was when she was campaigning. She came over to the black population.
Yeah, it was talking blackity black, and yeah, of course. Go ahead.
And she came over to them last, and then, matter of fact, she didn't even have anything to say when those Latinos said some racist stuff. She's one of the ones that got them in the position, even when she was a congressman. She's raising a lot of Hispanic people up in the black neighborhood and not do. Just like you said, they're going to slowly leave black women alone.
Right.
And they've already started that locally within California.
Her husband is Mexican.
Well, he passed away, right? Like she's a widow, isn't she?
Yeah, I forgot the name of the group, but they were very violent. November something, 1983, they blew up the back of the Capitol. She belonged to that group. She had nothing to do with it, but she belonged to that group. That's where she met her husband at.
You mean the Weather Underground?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, those are the people who got Assata Shakur out of jail.
Bass was going to Cuba every 6 months. And so she was the first runner-up to be vice president. But all that background wouldn't have been quite well.
If you ask me, I still think she would have been a better choice. And I was saying this before they even chose Kamala. She would have been a better choice for VP than Kamala.
Hell no.
Come on, Karen Bass. Oh, come on.
Hell no.
Over Kamala.
Bro, Karen Bass is like a dumber version of Kamala. Like she can't talk. Karen Bass cannot talk in. Bro, did you see how she sounded when they was talking about the fires when Donald Trump was sitting next to her? Even before that, when she was getting off the plane coming from Ghana with the fire, she's just an empty suit, just like Kamala. She would have done worse actually, because I think one, Kamala is prettier, right? So she got that going for her, and then Kamala actually has the resume of like I was a prosecutor and this and that. So she has a resume that kind of makes people think she'll be tough in certain instances. Bass is just an empty suit. Bass is a terrorist socialist Marxist who did what all the terrorist socialist Marxists, including the Black Panthers, did once they realized that their fake revolution was not going to work. They capitulated and they sought position among the very white people that they claim to be fighting against. Like, that's what you got to understand, Diane. It's like I sit down with Panthers regularly. And when their movement failed, they all went and jockey, like you said, your term, they all went and jockeyed for position under white supremacy. That's why when you talk to most of the Panthers, they're all old as dirt now. But where did they retire from? Universities, colleges. They were professors. Hey, our revolution didn't work, so let's go get jobs in the schools and teach kids how to be Marxist socialists. That's it. Hey, Too Real for TV. I see you. He said, did it fail? And you know what? That's a great question. Did it fail? Because their whole purpose, Black Panther Party was anti-Carter G. Woodson. All that, like what he talked about, they were the personification of exactly what he was saying. A bunch of black folks claiming they're implementing socialism and communism under the guise of black empowerment. But it wasn't really about black empowerment. They were using black people as the cover for them to implement socialism. And that goes all the way back to McCarthy. And that goes all the way back to the 30s. And Mac could tell you, Mac, am I lying?
100% right. You're very much 100% right. They're using black people now to push socialism. I mean, if you look at the DEI programs, black people are used as face of the DEI program, but they're the least to even get it. They're like, 3% to 2% to get it? No HBCUs got any money from the DEI, but they use black people as far as the LGBTQ, DEI, they use all that. And black people don't even know that they're being used. I think some of them do, but most of them don't. And the fact is that the ones that do, they're very comfortable in their oppression.
Yeah, that's exactly what Carter G. Woodson talked about. He said socialism, communism would come in, black people would think it's for black empowerment, and the whole time it will be another form of government from another country trying to infiltrate America. And when white people push back against socialism because the faces are black, we can scream racism. That's it. It's really an elaborate attack on prosperity, right? And ultimately, the end game of it is for everybody to end up as slaves again to the system, to the government, right? Like, what are you going to get in socialism? To go work and have them take your stuff and have it handed to somebody else? You see what I'm saying? Like, nobody would go for that on face value, at face value. So what they have to do is they have to trick you into accepting it.
All right, guys, links in the chat room. If you want to call in and add to the convo, you're more than welcome to call in and add to the conversation.
Carter G. Woodson also spoke out against NAACP back in the day. And he was saying they were more trying to get money to buy property than they are trying to liberate black people. He did not like the NAACP at all. And they wasn't doing anything for black folks or Negroes at that time. When he was the dean, he did not like a lot of the professors because he felt that the professors were wrong in what they were teaching Negro students. And he would use a term, the Negro sits in a troubled seat. And what he mean by that is that they were not learning different languages, because Carter G. Woodson, before even being introduced to education or working in education, he traveled all around the world when the average Negro did not. So he knew what other people were doing across the world, which he brought that experience to Howard University. But he would have a big fight, a big argument with W. Du Bois because he was an integrationist. W. Du Bois wanted integration, and so many of them wanted to be integrated. So, I mean, those are things that I think a lot of people should read Carter G. Woodson. He is just not one of the Negroes that went along with anything. I landed there.
I have a question, and I'm not trying to switch gears.
Go ahead.
But Brandon, what do you think about Trump trying to push a lot of federal workers back into the workspace? Because I'm concerned, and the reason why I'm concerned is because I work in human services, and because I live in a government area, because a lot of people work in the government, it has allowed them to care for their families, it has allowed them to take care of some responsibilities while simultaneously working. So, I find it very concerning because I feel like he's pushing people out of a job. And I work in the DC area, and mainly the people who work in the government are black, even though we may not be at the highest level, but we're working there.
I'm going to address that, then I'm going to address something that people in the comments are talking about. Okay, first and foremost, Michelle, have you ever been to the DMV?
Yes.
Okay. The DMV is one of the most acute examples of bureaucracy under the government. A bunch of fat, lazy ass people doing a job that they could do in 3 minutes, but finding a way to make it take an hour. The lines are out of control. Basically, all these people are doing is printing and stapling papers together. That's basically all the DMV is doing. Am I wrong, Dinus? They just print papers up,
no,
and hand them to you. That's literally all they're doing.
I would say this: my experience with a lot of people that work state and federal jobs haven't been, the best, especially the customer service.
Right? They're lazy. They're lazy, Dinus, and they're entitled. Right? They know that it's almost impossible for them to get fired.
Right.
They know that they're getting paid by the hour, not by the case. So they just lollygag and drag things out. Now take those same people who operate like that while they're at work with their supervisor looking at them, who for the most part has the same mindset. Now send them home. And tell me, do you honestly believe in your heart of hearts that these people are going to be more productive sitting on the couch than they are with their supervisor looking over their shoulder. They're not.
I don't agree with you using the DMV because I work in the DC area, just various governmental institutions doing various governmental activities.
I'm talking about the DMV as far as the car place, Department of Motor Vehicles.
Yes, but we have more than DMV here in the DC area that's run by the federal government.
If I can interject real quick, Michelle, if my boss tells me I got to come to work, you take your ass to work. You know, I mean, what's the problem? What's the issue? If my boss says, Dynas, I need you in the office, you got two options. You either go to the office or you say, boss, I ain't coming. And then you find you another job. Right. I don't know what the problem is.
So, Michelle, when you go to the DMV, you're telling me you feel like those people are working as hard as they could work?
No.
Okay, you're just saying stuff just to say it. I'm telling you, based on the experience that me, you, and every other person in America has had. You go into a government facility and everybody's in there dragging ass. Now, if you take those people and they're at work, they're dragging ass. Now take those people home, go to their house, and you think they're like, man, being at home made me more productive. They're literally tracking your productivity. So they're not doing their job, Michelle. That's why, for example, let's say your passport, right? A lot of that stuff can be done from home, right? As far as processing that and all that. It went from being like a 2-week wait to get your passport to being like a 6-month wait to get your passport. Why do you think everything took longer once everybody started going home? And they were like, it's because COVID. Why would it be because COVID? Government didn't fire nobody. The same amount of people working as have always been working. They don't even got to drive to work. Just jump up, hop on the computer and start working. It's because those people was at home not working. I'll give you another example, Dynas. When the kids started learning remotely, right? You're telling me that those teachers were working as hard over that laptop as they were working in the school? I sat and watched my daughter's teacher tell them, oh, okay, we only going to be here for 2 hours today. She's in there like, oh, I want you to read this, this, and this. She clicks off her screen. They supposed to be reading. An hour later, she clicked back on. Okay, so where did you get to? This and that. She worked for 2 hours. If she was at her job, guess what? She would have been working all day long. They're not doing the job, Dynas, and Trump knows that. That's why productivity overall has gone down, and these people are lazy as hell. They already lazy because the culture of government workers. Now they're even more lazy because they're at home.
All right, let me read this. There are a number of federal workers working from home are lazy as hell. I am a federal employee, and I know several workers who had to come back in the building due to their lack of work at home. Yeah, but we don't even have to go that far. Again, if your boss says you need to come to the office, you take your ass to the office. If not, you deal with the consequences. I mean, I don't even know why that's a problem. Like, why are we arguing over this? You get paid very well. You get benefits. You take your ass to the office.
Dynas, look at how black people operate in every job. At work, trying to do as little as possible while still collecting a paycheck. So, of course, we going to be trying to co-sign the BS because that's our culture as a group of people. You go in an establishment with a bunch of black folks in it. I don't know about Atlanta and all that. Maybe they working hard, but I highly doubt it. Like, you go to Atlanta, I'll give you a prime example. Look at Keith Lee, the food guy. He wouldn't even do reviews in Atlanta because he was like, bro, we walking into places, it's empty seats, and they talking about they all booked up. Because they don't want to work. Like you go to some black places. Like I went to this one restaurant. I drove like an hour to go there. Dynas, they close at 9. I show up at 7:45. They talking about, oh, the kitchen is closed. We ain't taking no more people. The restaurant is empty, right? I understand maybe it was slow, so you want to close down. But look, I don't have to worry about the Asians doing that. I don't got to worry about the Mexican restaurant doing that. Black folks just be looking for a reason. A lot of us. I'm not saying all. So some of us are hard workers. But Dynas, you know how we do it. And Carter G. Woodson knew how we were. But like I told you, you can't be honest with black people because if you're honest with them, you become the enemy. That is why the Democrats lie to black people, because they say, look, I don't even blame the Democrats, because they know you tell black people the truth, they're not going to support you. They like being lied to. And I don't know what they get out of it, but they enjoy it.
Let me say something on this.
Hey, MC, are you on speakerphone or Bluetooth? Because it's just you sound very muffled and far away from the phone.
You was clear at first, and now you muffled.
Yeah, we can't hear you. Hey, T. Khalid, call back in, T. Khalid. Yeah, we can. MC007. If you could, like, I just calling on. We can't hear you. We can't hear you. T. Khalid, go ahead, T. Khalid. Unmute yourself.
Yeah, man. I came in late on this conversation, but when it comes to the work thing, you're absolutely right. If you're getting paid well, take your ass to work. But what we have here is a bunch of liberal, never Trumpers that don't like Donald Trump, that wants to divide him at every corner. That's the issue. And, we're seeing a lot of this in 2020. I don't care about none of these people losing their jobs or getting laid off, because if y'all notice the first Trump term, he had a whole bunch of leakers. There was a lot of people leaking things about his administration, causing a bunch of turmoil. And then there was internal investigations against Donald Trump, which led to nowhere, that fake Russiagate. And then there was a fake impeachment about a call he made to Zelensky. So there's a bunch of traitors and people who don't like Trump. And yeah, for the people who want to sit at home and don't come to work, I think Trump should fire them. I honestly don't care about these people whining about Trump. You did not vote for Trump, so we don't care about your concerns. You are the loser. So you have to sit around and wonder why you lost. Like, we don't care about your complaints. You should have listened to us. We told you about the immigration issue. We told you that we over here spending taxpayer money funding immigrants, illegal immigrants, giving them housing, giving them all types of benefits while ignoring the natives at home. We told you about these stupid wars. We didn't like $500 million going to Ukraine and aiding this war, making us go closer to war. And you wonder why inflation goes up. You wonder why the dollar is losing value. All this printing money, when you look at USAID, all this money going to these liberal institutions. Like, none of this is conservative. All of this is liberal. I've even saw a video on YouTube. I don't know if it's a day or yesterday or the day before, but it was in LA or San Francisco, somewhere in California, where this Jewish group, I forget the name, but they was housing illegal immigrants, paying for their attorneys, paying for the foods, paying for the flights. And now that USAID shut down and they're not getting any more migrants, they are about to close down. But the point I'm trying to make, and what the Trump administration is trying to make, is why are they doing all these, aid programs for immigrants? That makes no sense. What about the poor Americans? Like, so if you're poor in America, you're just gonna have to just be poor. But then you got some illegal immigrant who can hop the border, and we paying for plane flights, housing, and all that nonsense. No, man. So yeah, man. I totally agree with Trump firing everybody, man, who is not listening. And yeah, Trump had to lose 2020, and I'm gonna land here. But had Trump not lost 2020, we would have not got RFK, Tulsi Gabbard. I don't think we would have Doge, Elon Musk. We would still have Mike Pence and a bunch of swamp rats. So yeah, this Trump had to lose 2020 to pave the way for the changes that we're seeing now.
Dinus, at this point, there is no way an African American person can still be supporting any Democrat. Like, the Democrats have crapped all over us. So when you come in trying to find reasons I can't support Trump, because I just look at you like you're a self-hater, and Dr. Amos Wilson was totally correct. You're possessed by a European demon. I want to read this part because this is what sums it all up, Dinus, right here. The impatient, highly educated Negroes therefore say that since under the present system of capitalism, the Negro has no chance to toil upward in the economic sphere, the only hope for bettering his condition in this respect is through socialism. The overthrow of the present economic regime and the inauguration of popular control of resources and agencies, which are now being operated for personal gain. That's what we're talking about with the USID and everything. Agencies being operated for personal gain. This thought is gaining ground among Negroes in this country, and it is rapidly sweeping them into the ranks of what are commonly known as communists. So when you see USAID, when you see the Department of Education, these other organizations, these departments, not only stealing, but laundering money, right? Misappropriating funds. To the Negro, this makes sense because he says it's better that they control everything as long as I'm getting a little piece of it than for us to have to do the work, the mental work of actually tracking where our taxpayer dollars are going. They want to be plugged into the matrix, Dinus. They want the government to have total control over their lives. You know why? Because if you give the government total control, then you don't have to worry. Then if something doesn't go right, you have somebody to blame. And Carter G. Woodson understood that. You got people in the comments talking about, well, they could go back to work, but there's nowhere for them to go. They go back where they came from, fool. They was working in an office. The government, Dinus, the government got thousands of
Excuse me. I know people who were sent back to work. Navy Yard recently. I know somebody who went to work. There was no space for them.
Guess what? They'll make a space for them. They'll make a space for them. The government has thousands of buildings that they paying for, empty from top to bottom, but they still paying paying rent and mortgages on the buildings. Like, it doesn't make any sense. They'll find a place for them. This is also, somebody said, oh, does Brandon understand that slavery comes from capitalism? Look, dumbass, slavery don't come from no capitalism. Just because somebody wrote a book, a black person wrote a book, capitalism and slavery. Black people keep on, slavery comes from capitalism. Slavery comes from socialism. The first slaves were in socialist societies, communal societies. That is why your African ancestors, who didn't have no capitalism, sold the people they defeated in war to white folks because they didn't have no capital. So they took other humans and used them as capital. Why? Because in socialism, they had nothing of value to offer. Once they gave so many cows and pigs and stuff that white people already had, they was like, what else can we give away? That's what happens. Slavery is the result of lack of capital. I don't really have a way to even pay you to do the job, so I have to force you. I have to coerce you to do it. If I'm a peasant, right, and you're a peasant, or we two African dudes in a hut, right, and you live around the corner from me and I live over here, and I'm like, dang, man, I need more people to work my farm, right? Okay, I don't have anything to give you to work the farm. You got pigs, I got pigs. You got cows, I got cows, all that. In order for me to get more hands to work my farm, I got to do one of two things. Have children and wait for them to get 18, right? Or I have to go find someone who I can trick or entice to work for me, or who I can force to work for me, right? And that's where slavery stems from. You don't have anything to give these people. You don't really have anything to offer them that they don't have for themselves. So you have to force them. That's the same thing that happened with these European countries. They bought slaves because they really didn't have a lot of resources where they were at. So they used the resources they had to acquire slaves to go out, and those slaves, one, became a resource and helped them in capturing more resources. But the reason why the African continent was so lucrative when it came to getting slaves was because they were socialist communal societies. Most of these societies didn't even have a concept of money. That's why you saw people selling off their own damn uncle and cousin and sister and all that, because it was just like, look, I don't got nothing to trade you for these guns, so we just gonna trade you people. Here, take my cousin. And of course, it started from indentured servitude, right? We understand that, but it evolved into something much more sinister.
And man, you know, what you say about following the money and black people is so true, because the problem with our community not following the money, we don't know who runs who. So when the NAACP comes out and acting fake pro-black, black people don't even realize, first of all, we don't even fund the NAACP. We don't even fund the Breakfast Club, any of these black news organizations. We don't fund none of it. And the fact that we don't follow the money allows some white liberal to be the CEO of a company and then like put a black face on it and then act like this is black run while pushing liberal propaganda. So that is number one. Our people need to learn how to follow the money. So when this USAA thing is exposing all of this corruption and where our money is going and how it's pushing social agendas, black people should be excited about this. But instead, all these years talking about how corrupt the system is, you know, fight the power. When the power structure is being exposed, now they're pro the system. No, they're like, no, lock the guy up, exposing the power structure so we can remain in the dark. That makes absolutely no sense to me that our community would operate like that. You got Maxine Waters, who is an embarrassment. I don't even know how she keeps getting voted back in. That does go to the IQ of the voters in her district. That woman needs to be kicked out. But she's out here just with this stupid performative protest against Elon Musk. The same way with Ayanna Pressley, Ilana, all the liberal, all of them, they are straight up black embarrassment because their whole thing is to keep our people in the dark about where our money is going so we could be brainwashed slaves and then just keep stealing away money. And then you wonder why they complaining in Chicago, complaining in New York. Well, why are these immigrants to take care of? Where's all this money going to? Or they complain about reparations. Well, how come there's never any funds for reparations? And they're seeing how their tax money's being used, but then pro it because they hate Trump. So this is a learning lesson for a black community. Either we're gonna evolve and get intellectually and politically smart, or just keep remaining at the bottom because we just want to be so short-sighted and blind to what's really going on.
Hey, I want to ask a question real quick. Okay, tell me which one of these things sounds more like slavery, right? I was trying to look up this thing from China, but I can't find it. Okay, tell me which one of these things sounds more like slavery. I go to work for a whole week. At the end of the week on Friday, I get a paycheck. With that paycheck, I get to decide whatever I want to do with it. If I want to go waste it on cotton candy, I could do that. If I want to go buy a car, I could do that. Buy shoes, whatever. Now, that's one. Now, in this other system, I go to work all week. At the end of the week, I don't get a paycheck. At the end of the week, I get a piece of paper that says this piece of paper entitles you to 5 loaves of bread, 3 eggs, 1 16-ounce cut of meat, and a pair of socks. Which one of those systems sounds like slavery to you? The one where I get my money and I can do whatever I want with it at the end of the week when I work, or the one where I work all week and then I have things assigned to me based on not how much work I did, but based on my needs as understood by someone who never even met me, don't even know how I live, never met my family, none of that. Which one of those to you sounds like slavery?
The ration.
Right, because during slavery, that's all a slave was guaranteed. He'd get a burlap sack for some clothes. He'll get maybe a pair of shoes if he was working out in the fields and he was an adult. He would get a small little bowl of pig's guts to throw in a pot and stew down for his family. And that's all he was. And he got a shack to live in. That's it. And in exchange for his work, he got the bare minimum. He didn't get a paycheck. The slaves that actually were able to buy their way out of slavery, those people earn money on the side by doing side jobs. And once they were able to participate in capitalism, they were able to get out of slavery. But when they were on the plantation, that was pure socialism. That's why they had no way to buy their freedom. because everything was distributed based on what the massa thought they needed. If you go to socialist countries, well, back in the day, that's what they did. So I don't see how all these black people who claim to be educated look at socialism as some type of liberating thing when all it does is restrict your ability to do anything for yourself. That's slavery. Capitalism is not slavery. Let's say capitalism was built on slaves. Okay, I'll accept that, right? Even though I think capitalism was built on commerce, but and slaves were a commodity just like sugar and salt and everything else. But hey, capitalism was built on slaves. Let's just say that. Okay, you are now participating in capitalism. Not one person in the audience calling me a liar is going to give up their capitalism in exchange for socialism. Y'all going to talk about it. Y'all will fantasize about it, but you're never going to do it. Right? Ellery is in the comments. Ellery's not going to give up his job under the capitalist system to go live on an island and share a loaf of bread with you. That's why I just say this conversation does nothing but expose the hypocrisy that is deeply embedded in the heart and brain of many black people. Sitting up, fantasizing about shit they're never going to do. It's like a guy who fantasizes about a threesome. Yeah, he fantasizes about it, but once he gets presented with it, most of y'all gonna punk out. Oh, no. Dinus, am I lying? Let's get 3 bad bitches and put them in a room with the average dude. He's gonna chicken out. Bro. He's gonna chicken out. I've seen it. Okay, I've seen it. I've done it, right? That's black people with this whole notion of socialism. You guys think you want it, but when it's presented to you, you're going to be like the dude in the Bible, the rich young ruler, who he was like, Jesus, I want to follow you. Jesus was like, go sell everything you got and come be my disciple. And the guy was like, you know what? I don't think I want to follow you anymore, bro, because I don't want to give up all the shit I got. That's black people in a nutshell. You ain't giving up nothing you got to go share anything, because if that's the case, let me put my cash up in the chat and y'all all just send me $100. You won't do it.
With that being said, with that, hold on, I'm gonna pass to you, Mr. Salmon. Hold on a second. With that being said, guys, I'm gonna put my cash app in the chat, and I want everybody to send me $100. All right, go ahead, Mr. Salmon.
No, either send Dinus $10 right now, or shut the hell up about socialism, because unless you're saying that you're so dumb that you need the government to come steal it from you, which in that case, you know it's not going to go to where it's supposed to, as we're seeing now. You guys are so lazy. USID is proving you don't even want to do the work of keeping track of your money. But you saying, let's forfeit all our money over to the government. Let's give more of our money to the government and pray that they do the right thing. Hell no. Yeah, Ellery, that's exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah, so I'm actually a federal employee. I don't want to get too much into it, and dox myself like that. And I got the email from Trump and Elon Musk and stuff like that. So I got some decisions to make, and I had a unique opinion on the situation. But before I got to that, I did some research. I was looking at the title of the show, and it was supposed to be about Eric Adams. And I did a little bit of research. I pulled up the indictment on him in New York City, and man, it's some serious stuff. Like, man, if he's convicted of this stuff, he might do some serious time. But
no, he won't. He can just get pardoned by Donald Trump.
Yeah, if he doesn't get pardoned, yeah,
he will.
This is like the borderline RICO charges what he did. I mean, what they're claiming he did. But as far as like the federal government stuff, all right, so we're talking about socialism and capitalism. And
wait,
I don't know if you've been
Mr. Salmon, before you get started, let me ask you a question. Would you say federal employees are hardworking people who can be trusted to manage themselves, go home, and they're going to do everything they're supposed to do as efficiently and as fast as possible? Honestly.
Well, I'll tell you that the newer it depends on what you're talking about. Now, the vast majority of the federal employees that work in the department I work for the DOD. The vast majority of them are all ex-military, and they do have a work ethic, and the ones that don't work hard or don't give out much effort are normally like guys that's did 20 years in the active duty service and did another 20 years working for the federal government, and they just sitting around waiting to retire. But there's a lot of young folks in DOD too, just starting their career, and they're working pretty hard. So it's it's kind of like the seniority thing. If an old guy been, around the block, 30, 40 years, he gonna kick his feet up. He ain't gonna really do nothing. He just waiting for his pension to roll in.
And are you
So
for
I
or
think
against
Trump and
Trump?
Elon, they trying to push those guys out more so than anybody. However, it's a little messy because I don't think they did a thorough investigation on everything that gets done by federal workers. Not
If
just
if your boss asks you to take your ass to work from working at home, what are you supposed to do?
I got to.
That's it. That's it.
But here's the thing, though. All right, so I don't know if you know, but like pretty much all 50 states of the union in the United States, they're all at-will states, meaning that any employer, in the civilian sector could fire you for any reason that they feel like they want to fire you for. They could just say, I don't like the way you look, or I don't like that you're a Democrat, or I don't like that you're a Republican. I'm gonna get rid of you. Now the problem with that is, a lot of the right wing or the Republican Party, they're against unions.
There's no problem with that, because if you have a business, you should be able to hire and fire who you want to. Imagine if you have a taco stand and I try to tell you you gotta hire this person or you can't fire this person. You're gonna be looking at me like, how the hell you gonna tell me who I could hire and fire? It's my business.
Well, you can't really compare like a taco stand to a lot of these big Fortune 500 companies that are practically too big to fail.
Are you a Trump supporter or a Kamala supporter? Just out of curiosity.
Bro, you're telling me that if you own a corporation and there's somebody up in your job who you want to get rid of, that someone else should be able to come and tell you you can't fire that person? You sound like a damn fool.
All right, so here's the thing, though.
If that's the case, it's not yours.
Those Fortune 500 companies, right? They wouldn't be nothing without the people purchasing their stuff.
It doesn't matter.
So they need a middle class. They need a thriving middle class for them to even make money to begin with.
That's totally fine, but it's your company. You can hire and fire whoever you want to.
Okay. Well, what I was getting at is I used to be in a union, and I was working for one of those companies, one of the Fortune 500 companies that were too big to fail. And because, they wanted to get rid of some people because we were under a new contract that was coming up, and they wanted to reduce or increase the length of your probationary period in the new contract so they could just get a faster turnover rate, meaning that if you get past the probation period, then your salary raises, several dollars. They want to bring you in, fire you before your probation period comes up, and just keep, the door recycling, and that's how they get the most profit.
Business-wise, that doesn't make any sense.
No, that's what they do.
But that doesn't make any sense because, bro, I used to be a manager, bro. It costs you more money to train employees over and over again than to just keep retaining an employee and pay them a couple more bucks.
That's a fact. That's a fact. My manager used to tell me the same thing, that it costs more to train new employees.
I used to work in the warehouse. I don't know what y'all were doing.
Listen, man. Let me just tell you this: the truth about this versus this BS you talk about, bro. When I brought in a new employee, the first thing I had to do was train that person. That meant I had to take time away from what I had to do to help them. Do you think my store was more productive with me in the back teaching some guy how to freaking scrub toilets properly or whatever? I'll teach him how to use a pallet jack or whatever. Do you think my store is more productive with me in the back giving this person a lesson on this? Or if I'm doing my job while that person is efficiently doing their job because they've been properly trained. It is the worst thing when you are in any boss like management position. The number one thing you hate is having to bring new people on, because now I gotta freaking babysit them all damn week or 2 or 3 weeks. No company does that in the name of increasing the bottom line. They want people to stay. And high turnover companies like that, where they're constantly hiring and firing people, they develop a business model to accommodate that, like Target or like security companies. But those companies usually are not unionized, and they don't have a probationary period. They just fire you, or they just, they fire you if it doesn't work out with you. You don't need a probation.
It depends on the state. So in Pennsylvania, they have unions, but I live in New Jersey now, and it's a union free state. So it depends on the state that you're in. So the federal workers that still live in the Pennsylvania area, they actually have a suit up against the administration presently for being relieved of their duties, or the attempted to be relieved of their duties by Trump and Elon Musk. But I hear a lot of things going on about this. What do you call it? The socialism versus the capitalism. So I don't know if y'all heard, but Elon Musk seems like he's more of a socialist than he is a capitalist. If you listen to him, he's the one who's been he's the one who's been presenting universal basic income, so that artificial intelligence can take all the jobs.
And maybe he is, but guess what? He's not the president, and we have a democracy in this country.
Exactly.
So the people will have to vote on that. Do you guys come with this bullshit fear-mongering? The only people who this crap works on are dummies who don't even know how their own country works. And
I'm just giving y'all a warning.
No,
I don't care about Elon Musk. Elon Musk don't pass laws, bro. I don't care what. Elon Musk out here having multiple baby mamas, man. That has nothing to do with the country.
It's up to you.
Listen, bro.
If this is why y'all lose, bro. Y'all not scaring nobody no more, bro. None of y'all scare tactics works, bro. Find a new tactic.
Mr.
2025 just started, and it's about to get
and this is
more crazier by the end of the
Hey, Donis and Brandon, this is why Trump is getting rid of people like him. You see, you know what I'm saying? He didn't vote for Trump anyway. Get out of here, bro. He probably leaking.
Get rid of me. What are you talking about?
This man is
I'm at work
saying
now.
this man is a government employee, but don't got the IQ to understand that Elon Musk don't have power to do nothing in this country other than run his damn mouth and make a suggestion.
DEI hire, bro.
Well, the email that I received, was verbatim, basically the same email that he gave all of his employees that used to work for Twitter.
Yeah,
it's based on the research that I did. And
listen,
I have a high
is it more anti-Trump sentiment though?
Read his email, so that's good enough for me. As long as
let me ask you, man, is the sentiment where you work mostly anti-Trump?
Of course it is.
I'm not
Man,
even.
You gotta get those people.
It's not
out
even
of there,
about.
bro.
It's not even about being anti-Trump. The election's over.
White House, bro. You gotta get them out.
The election's over. I don't even care. I don't even care about that. I'm just trying
are most employees like that, or are they upset with Trump?
Where we going?
No, and that's fine as long as you're doing your duties. Fine, that's cool. But is the sentiment most of the employees very upset and they feel like they got to do something about Trump?
Okay,
or is it we got another president?
The Biden
we just gonna do what we are told?
What the Biden administration did is he mentioned something that you might want to pay attention to. He said something about the oligarchs taking over him. Now, I already told you that every state in the country is a at-will state, meaning that your job can fire you whenever they feel like it.
Okay, so
and
why are
you're not allowed
why
to
do you
have
keep
unions
saying that as if that's a bad thing?
Because the Republican Party is against unions, and I'm just telling you that when these artificial intelligence and these robots take over, they're going to get rid of all of you, and you're not going to be able.
Well, then you should have came up with a better argument. That's why y'all lost.
You can tell when people have never.
It was going to happen regardless.
You
of
can
who
tell
won
when
the
people have
election.
never really owned any
I'm just letting
business
you
or
know.
anything like that. Everything comes from the perspective of you don't. They're basically trying to strip the business class of their power to run their business. But if you took your business, Dynas, and handed it to Mr. Sandman and let him control it, it will be gone in 2-3 weeks. It'll be failed. It'll be in bankruptcy. That's what I keep trying to explain.
All Dynas got to do is hand his business over to an AI bot, and it'll make us more money than any of us.
Listen to this guy. I love Mr. Sandman because he's the perfect example of how these liberals think. Don't run your business. Let me bully you out of you doing your business the way you want to. Then you can hand your business over to an AI and you can make more money than ever. This man ain't handing shit to an AI. He ain't never worked with an AI. He ain't even ran a business, but he knows that an AI can run your business better than you. These people
You're
have
not
no
sticking
experience.
to the facts, man.
These
You're
people
just
have no
throwing out
experience on what
insults and
they're
ad
talking about.
hominems, and it's
Listen,
kind of childish and
Listen,
stupid.
man. I'm gonna tell you
Just
this.
stick to the facts, man.
Hold on,
Why are you
bro.
wasting
Hold
our
on, Mr.
time?
Sandman.
There's nothing
Hold
but
on, Mr.
adults in
Sandman.
here.
Wait a minute.
He say you speaking nonsense, bro.
Listen,
You gotta get him.
listen.
I'm not going to sit up here on no damn
hold on, Mr. Sandman.
YouTube arguing
Hold on, Mr. Sandman.
with this
Hold
silly
on.
nigga.
Hold on, Mr. Sandman.
Like, come on,
I
man.
was just watching a conference. It was a tech conference. I'm gonna look up the link and send it to Dynas. There were 4 tech CEOs, right? And they were talking about AI. They said AI is the latest buzzword. They said you cannot find a single business right now that can show you a scale of the uptick in profits based on the implementation of AI. So though AI is the buzzword that's popular right now, there are no companies who are seeing increased revenue from implementing AI, right? They said it's a sexy word. They said most people who come in and apply for jobs revolving around AI, they're basically regurgitating stuff they read in articles. These are what tech CEOs are saying. Black people, like I always say, we are some trendy niggas. Whatever is a trend, we're gonna jump on.
No, it worked.
Sorry. We're some trendy Negroes. Can I say Negroes?
You can say Negroes.
Okay, we trendy Negroes, bro. Whatever these screens tell us is the new thing, we're gonna jump on top of that. We don't gotta know nothing about it. We don't know if it's lucrative or it's producing anything. I got 1 million friends preaching, and I'm not taking a shot at nobody. I got 1 million friends preaching crypto to me. Same 1 million friends is borrowing money every month from me. Can I borrow it back? I look at them and say, damn, dude, what about the crypto empire you was building just a year ago, a year and a half ago? They're just talking about it because that's what they're receiving from the box on the screen on the wall. They don't know anything about this crap. And that's what Mr. Salmon did. Just implement AI and all this crap. Bro,
well, I have like multiple jobs, and every job has told me that they're adding AI to our business plan. Do you work for a company, or do you have your own business? Do you work for a major company? No.
I work for insurance.
If you work for a major company, you would see that they're all moving in that direction. That's where it's headed.
Show the profits,
man. Here's the thing.
Oh no, it's about to happen. I mean, they got to invest in it first, and then allow it to matriculate.
A few years ago, he didn't even know that Congress was made up of the House and the Senate. So I don't know what he's talking about. Now check this out. The whole AI thing, it ain't no black thing. Ain't no black, generally speaking, company investing in AI in a major way. When you watch CNBC, it's mostly white folks on there talking about AI. Now, I think AI is overblown. Okay, cool. And then Elon Musk can't do nothing. And yet still you have this brother on here telling you that he received a letter and people are being fired and all kinds of stuff. And
the letter wasn't signed by Elon Musk.
And we live in a democracy when U.S. aid was funded by the
Mr. Sandman, was your letter signed by Elon Musk?
It wasn't signed by anything, but it was asking us
that's it. The letter wasn't signed by Elon Musk.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
yeah, nothing was signed by him. But
okay,
like
so
I
what are you
said, I
talking
looked
about,
it up.
J.A.?
I looked it up
What are
online
you talking about?
and verbatim.
The letter wasn't signed by Elon Musk. I already knew that. That's what
Elon Musk is the richest man in the world.
What you're talking about.
And his biggest investment is artificial intelligence.
Unless Elon Musk's name is signed on the bottom of that paper, he's not controlling nothing.
Like fit 2 and 2 together.
Unless Elon Musk's name is signed on the bottom of that paper, he's not doing anything.
The
Congress said
artificial
it was
intelligence
dead
is
and it's
about to
dead.
take
And
over.
you
Just
didn't go
get
to
used
Congress
to it.
to kill it. What are you talking
And
about?
if you drive people or you pick up like Uber Eats and all that shit, it's going to be
So South
vehicles,
Africans can't get their
unmanned
AIDS
vehicles
meds.
driving people
They
with
hope these
food to
meds
their
are
house.
invented. And
By
what are
the
you
end of this
talking
year,
about, bro?
it's going to happen.
Bro,
Huh?
that's why y'all lost, bro. Y'all don't make good arguments.
Hey, you can say whatever you want. Brandon and all the Trump supporters were out in the cold, and who was sitting next behind Trump or in his inauguration? It was all the billionaires sitting there, and all you
So,
little fools that
and y'all don't
outside.
got billionaires? Get out of
Come,
here.
he didn't even have it outside so everybody could see. What are you guys talking about?
Bro, so only the Republicans got billionaires. The Democrats is all
Bro,
grassroots,
I'm
right?
not talking about the
So
billion. Every
so
other
Heinz
president
Saban doesn't even exist.
that voted him could have come. This guy has it in the room. The billionaires even sitting ahead of the people.
So what?
You guys
And
outside, bro. What are you talking?
good. We need free speech on social media. Good. I love to see Google CEO
There's
there.
always
Mark
free speech.
Zuckerberg. We need the
So what are
free
you
speech.
talking about,
We
bro?
don't
On
need
your
no
show
censored
right now,
social media platform
talking about.
so you liberals can sit there and censor us. Good. Get over it.
We're
Good.
talking. Dinah show ran the whole time for the last how many every years it's been on. What are you talking about free speech? We have free speech.
Bro, do you not know what was happening on Twitter? Bro, YouTube is censored like a mug, man. You still
Bro,
can't
you
even
made
talk
that
about a
up.
certain
You never done
virus
nothing. You never read.
without getting thrown off this
You don't
platform. What are
even
you
know
talking
what's in
about?
the House
You
and the
couldn't
Senate.
even question the election a couple years ago. What are you talking about, dude?
Bro,
You don't even
even
know what the hell you are even
making
talking
stuff
about no censorship. The
up.
hell it is.
Facts. You don't care about facts. You just make stuff up, bro.
Bro, if y'all got the facts on your side, y'all don't have to censor.
Bro, look it up.
But
Look
because
it
y'all are
up.
so
You
bad
got,
at arguments, that's why you
bro,
have to
read.
censor. Talking
Read,
about
bro.
men could
Look
be
it up.
women. Y'all are silly.
Look it up. Read. You want me to find facts for you too?
Talking about
Read,
facts.
bro.
Can a
Come on,
man
bro.
be a woman? Can a man be a woman? Is that a fact? Talking about facts.
Bro, what do you care about a man being
That's
a woman? People
but
in
because your
damn
party
HIV,
is
USA shut
pushing
down.
men into women's spaces.
A
Your
man being a
party. So
woman
you
don't
talk about
matter
the
to me, bro.
facts. Can a man be a woman?
Can't even get their AIDS meds because USAID is shut down now. Now China and them gonna step in and take the US role.
Oh wow!
Bring,
Then let them deal with it, bro.
bring
Let
those
them, bro. The economy is bad. Let them deal with it, bro. We
huh?
don't
You guys
care,
on
bro.
the planet
If
trying
China want to use their billions
if you guys get the
to
then you
clean
turn
up
over
waste
for them
in Africa, then let China
what you
do
talking
it.
about, bro?
Boy,
Huh? What
y'all
you
get mad at whatever the media tell y'all to get mad at. Boy,
whatever
it is hilarious.
hey,
These Negroes are now pro USA.
you're just making shit up. Read something, look it up. Bring some facts, bring some sources.
They're pro
They got
teaching transgenders in the Congo. Like, did y'all see some of the aid?
you telling
Like
me, man.
Sesame Street in
I ain't
Afghanistan,
worried.
and
I'm
liberals are okay with
people
that?
getting their AIDS meds in South Africa. That's what I'm worried about. I'm worried about people getting tuberculosis medicine so that shit don't spread around the world. Now we almost killed that stuff. That's what I'm worried about.
Bro, that ain't stopping no AIDS from reaching no Houston or Atlanta, bro. Them AIDS is everywhere, bro.
And he's the head of the health
That ain't stop nothing.
services. That's what I'm worried about. Huh?
Good, bro. Good.
What are you gonna tell me?
Good. Bro, y'all had a transgender, bro. Y'all had a
Bro, I ain't
confused
worried about no
individual over
goddamn
Health and Human Services. And what did they achieve?
I ain't worried about no transgender, bro. Them people in Africa.
Bro, y'all had a
HIV,
confused individual as Health Human Services,
what are you
bro.
talking about,
What are
bro?
you on, bro? He was a trans, bro. He didn't even know what his gender was.
Bro, I ain't about the
Y'all got
teachers
all
that are
these
gonna
weirdos have the nerve to criticize RFK.
I ain't worried about what you talking about.
I know you not because you're not a woman.
Guys,
Exactly.
bright shiny object they talking about. Huh? Now Elon Musk is in our government, no elected, nobody voted for him.
Oh
He's driving
well.
the government. You think
So
they're
what?
getting millions of
Nobody voted for Jack Smith to
Nobody
possibly
voted
Trump.
for Fauci either.
I don't even know why Jay is up here. All this guy does is spread misinformation, constantly trying to fearmonger.
Brandon, you don't know what
Guy,
you're
you
talking
were
about.
talking
You
about
scared, bro. You
AI.
scared.
This guy
You
came up
scared.
here talking about
You
AI.
scared,
Now
bro.
he's talking
That's
about
why you black people
Elon
in the
Musk.
channel scared,
Hey,
bro.
listen, yeah,
Because
I'm
you ain't
not
got
scared
no
of you.
facts. You just
I'm
make
not
stuff
scared
up.
of you.
You didn't have
Listen,
no
man.
facts to make
If you had the
AI.
facts, you would have
Hey,
won, bro. But you
no
lost.
listen,
What are you
AI,
talking about, Brandon?
AI It's just like when they was talking about smart cities, all this stuff. It is just a trendy phrase or term that people, dude, I was reading an article and they were talking, this guy was complaining, talking about his company started calling everything that is done on the computer AI, so that they could make people think that they had invested in all these AI resources and all this stuff. Man, this stuff is just a hoax, man. And I'm telling you, African American people get online and talk more about things that they have never seen, never done, and never interacted with than anyone else on the internet. They'll bring up crypto, they'll bring up stocks, they'll bring up government bonds, don't have one stock, don't own a single coin of crypto. They'll just bring it up because they know that these are buzzwords that people keep, that gets people's attention. It's just like when you use the word exposed or hoax or G-check or one of these words. It's just a word that gathers black folks around the campfire. Like, ooh, they said somebody got exposed. Let's go see it. I'm tired of that. We know how the government works. You're not going to be able to fearmonger us into agreeing with you because you've had 4 years to do whatever you thought you was going to do under Joe Biden, and you did nothing. Now you're trying to come at us like, well, if I can't win, at least I could scare everybody into not doing anything. Bro, Dynas, why didn't they do what they claimed they would do if they had won 4 years ago? We won. We made the right decision. We took the temperature of America and got it right. We knew what America needed 8 years ago, me, Dynas, and the rest of us. We knew 8 years ago. You didn't listen to us then. This time, some people finally listened to us, and the country is on the right path. You guys are afraid of success, as are a lot of African-American people. You guys are hateful and jealous of anyone who dares believe in themselves. We're not down there in the bottom with y'all. Y'all stay down there. Y'all stay angry online on YouTube and stuff. You see me, I was gone from YouTube for several weeks. Guess what? I got stuff I'm doing. Dynas was gone. Dynas got stuff he's doing in real life. Y'all sitting on the internet like a bunch of sharks waiting for a dead carcass to drop in the water so y'all could jump on it. That's all y'all doing. Can't none of these people get on here and actually elaborate on anything they're talking about. Ellery is in the comments, still talking about communism, socialism. Ellery can't come up here and explain to you from A to Z how communism and socialism is better for black people. He's just mad at capitalism because his country is getting hurt by capitalism or whatever. And so he's angry. And I'm telling you, Dynas, there are real supervillains in this world. And I think Ellery's one of them. These people would be totally fine with watching the world burn just because something didn't work out the way they wanted it to. And what I would say to these people, grow the hell up. Everything's not going to go your way. And it's wrong of you and it's degenerate of you to adopt this like destructive mindset, right? Where you're like, I'm going to destroy myself and destroy everybody else just because things aren't going your way. Like, put this energy into raising your kids right. Put this energy into the things you can accomplish versus trying to cut everybody off at the knees because you're not getting your way. And I'm telling you guys, most of these people preaching to you about socialism and all this stuff, these people already have money, but they want to eliminate competition. And if you're dumb enough to let them eliminate you from the chessboard, so that they can gain more for them and their kids while you and your kids is waiting on a crumb to drop, you're silly. I'm not going to buy into this loser mentality so because it makes Ellery feel better. I got my daughter to think about, bro. I got my kids to think about. They need to be successful. I'm not going to steal their future to make you feel better. I'm not going to rob them of America where they could prosper so you could feel better. You could go straight to hell.
Another reason why they lose is that they cowardly talk crap in the comment sections, but won't come up on the panel to explain their point. That's why they're losing, and that's why they don't win arguments. See, we're not afraid to debate anybody. That's why we come up here and talk. But they're not intelligent enough to explain their points. And yeah, what you said is pivotal. We had 4 years of Trump, 4 years of Biden. the American people looked at both administrations and they made their choice. Yeah, if the Democrats wanted to win, they had 4 years to do it. But what did they do? They opened up the border wide open. They are pushing all these stupid social agendas that no one is for. They're over here fighting all these wars overseas. The economy's getting bad. The price of everything is going up. And they're not addressing none of this. And yet they come to us and ask us for another 4 years of our vote. That's insanity. And then your best argument is Trump is a dictator. Trump is this. We lived through him 4 years. Regardless of what you said about January 1st, Trump left the White House when Biden's term came. He did not have to be escorted out by no police. The transition happened. So y'all have nothing to fall on. Like if you're so right, come on the panel. Stop talking noise in a like that's just like a lot of our it's just like a coward. You know, when it comes to Trump, like black people don't want to talk to him, negotiate with the Republican Party face to face. Instead, they want to sit on the sidelines and talk noise. That's it. Just whine and moan instead of approaching him with whatever differences you have and then negotiate some type of agreement. They just want to complain. And that's why you stay losing.
Well, all right, guys, hit the like button. Brandon, anything else you want to share in closing? We'll go ahead and start closing out. It's up to you guys.
Man, listen, man. All I'm gonna tell you, Dine, is we got the victory on this one. We were right. Elon Musk, it's like when you win, it's like when you up by 50, but you just running the score up. You know what I'm saying? You remember how y'all used to do at Grant High School when y'all get up on somebody and just run the score up on them? It's like that, right? They're mad because basically Elon Musk is helping Trump put the death knell in the coffin of the Democratic Party. Like their corruption is being totally exposed to the point where even Democrat voters are now saying that they approve of what Trump and Elon Musk are doing. Trump is smart. He's been a CEO for a long time in successful businesses. And part of being a CEO is just like being a good manager. You have to know what people to put in what position to make the company successful. And Trump is running this government like a company. He's putting Elon Musk in position. Elon Musk is putting very smart young people in position to expose. You want to throw the oppression off of you? That's, you know how you do it? You do it by what Elon Musk is doing with Doge, getting those young people, allowing them to get paid to use their skills to go hunt down these dirty old men who are bankrupting our government with their money laundering schemes, right? We talk about the Democrat Party used to be everything that they're doing, they try to project on everybody else. And we are just witnessing that in real time. Everything they accuse Trump or the Republicans of doing, we're finding out that they were the ones doing it. And I'm not saying there are not Republicans involved in stuff. There are for sure. And those people need to go too. But what we need immediately is what Trump is doing. Finding the fraud, finding the steal, exposing the steal, stopping it, and then allowing the American people to decide how they would like to proceed. And if you don't like that, you're just not an American. You don't have an American mindset, and you should just keep quiet and let the people who understand what's going on handle the business. That's it.
And Dinas, man, the only reason why they're mad at Elon Musk is simply because he's with Trump. I promise you, if Elon Musk took over at Twitter and Twitter was the exact same and conservatives was out there getting booted off and censored, they will love him. So the problem with the Negroes that all they do is they sit around and they wait to be told who to be upset with, and then that's what they act on. They never naturally are upset with anything that affects the system in a negative way. And yeah, man. And last thing with that Eric Adams one, because I forgot about that one.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, the only reason why black folks is pro, and it's so sad, man. The only reason why Eric Adams is getting attacked and not Brandon Johnson is because Eric Adams is attacking illegal immigrants and putting the best interest of the natives, the native born Americans above illegals. And Brandon Johnson is refusing to do that. And you would think that the African American, especially the quote unquote FBA, who says he's born and raised there, you would think that they will be more pro-American, pro their own people, that they would totally agree. But like I said before, they take their marching orders from whoever the media tells them to be mad at. So yeah, they will sit there and go against their own, like Eric Adams, who's fighting for them, and then prop up Brandon Johnson, man. It's ridiculous.
All right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. Like, share, subscribe. Until next time, family. Don and Samir, search for Huru. Peace.
I'm gonna be live later.
Guys, go make sure you subscribe to Pan African. Well, what's your new page, Brand?
Hey, my new page is Notorious BDT. Notorious BDT. Go over there and subscribe. I'm dropping content on there today, and from here on out, I'm doing double duty. Dynasty, we gonna hit them. Hey, man, we got to turn up the output, which you're already doing, so I need to copy you. All right, have a good one.
All right, peace.